I own and operate an equipment dealership here in Nebraska. I started this company right out of college about 9 years ago. And lifetime sales of the company are just over 53 million. This year we're going to end probably somewhere just north of $8 million in gross revs with an EBITDA of around 540,000. So this is going to be our best year yet. Finally, after 9 years, getting tuned in here to how we can do the best job. My question today revolves around small teams. So I have a team of 5 people full-time here, and my challenge is how can we better prepare ourselves for when multiple staff members are gone with little or no notice? And the context for the question comes from 2 Mondays ago when all of the team members were gone and it was just me. And it was a stressful day. Instead of working 10 hours, I worked 16 hours. I went home. I was a complete grump to my wife and my kids. And I just have to find a better way to prepare not only the company, but to prepare myself for when things happen. It was a mixture between pre-approved time off and kids getting sick and personnel getting sick, doctor's appointments, so on and so forth. It wasn't from a position of, abusing the privilege of time off. It was more about it was the perfect storm. And as I look back over the past 9 years, this happens about once a quarter. On one day, it's a perfect storm. So how, as an entrepreneur who's involved with the company every day, who already has a full workload, how can I better position myself and the company to absorb those responsibilities without sacrificing customer service?
Wow. I've had individuals or for short periods of time, stuff like that happen. I've never had 100% of my workforce out for a day. That's even when we were your size. And once a quarter is untenable.
I agree.
That tells me that tells me that coming to work is not a high priority.
Well, I think as I look at the other 4 team members, that could be true for one of them. One's my all-star. Definitely, unless, he's on his deathbed, he's at work.
Well, what was he dying Monday? I mean, where was he?
Yeah, he had a family emergency. There was a car wreck. And so it was, like I said, it was the perfect storm. There was an injury.
But that's not once a quarter. Where was he on those other quarters?
Yeah, mostly for that particular individual, it's pre-approved time off, like 3 weeks in advance, 1 day off. Office manager, has a grandchild who is always ill, so she's gone occasionally. The other guy has a special needs son who has doctor's appointments and things. And right now we have a vacancy in the other role. It's a family problem, that's for sure. The mother and the father and former in-laws, that's definitely carrying over into this person's attendance.
Okay. So, we've got individual cases going on here. But basically, I'm going to turn up the heat that says, you can't leave me in here by myself. Your lack of planning at home does not constitute a crisis on my part. It constitutes a crisis on your part. You have to be at work if you want the job. And so if something pops up with the child, your spouse is going to have to handle it because you have to be at work. And occasionally I can grant grace, but I don't have the margin for all you people to just not show up because it's not convenient that day.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly right. I'm Midwest polite, and I try to assume everybody's telling the truth and doing the best. But it's really
I think they're pushing the edge of grace here. And mercy, and I think they're taking advantage of you to a point. I mean, it's probably not that big a deal, but listen, I mean, I've got people here that have had things come up, and for a season, we can let them have a thing. But if you can't come to work 1 day a week on average because of your child care issue, I can't have you. I have to have people working, so I got to get somebody else. If you're just constantly, if there's just chronically have a medical problem over a long period of time, I mean, a season, I can give you a grace. We'll work around you. We'll backfill for you, that kind of stuff. But, when you came to work here, we work here Monday through Friday. We work in the building.
Yep.
We work in the building, and we're work from work. That's who we are. And that's the job you took. And if you can't do that, I understand. But, and again, a one-off or a car wreck or something, sure, we're not mean, nasty people. But my grandson is sick, and every time my grandson, you're not even the mother, you're the grandmother. You're not at work. No, that's not going once a year for that one, and so we're going to have to reset our expectations with these folk and go, that's the thing. And if something does blow up, we have to have a self-employed mentality around here where if you had a personal day off and your personal day was planned for 3 weeks and your personal day plan is to be fishing and everybody else can't show up because of legitimate car wreck stuff, you got to not fish that day. I'll give you another day to fish. You got to come help me fish.
Right.
Because I got fish to catch. So, I don't know what you're doing on your personal day. If your personal day's planning to be in Paris, France or something, you can't do anything about it. But that's probably not the case. It's probably
Is that reasonable of me to communicate that to them? The person who had his personal day off.
Yes.
Is it reasonable for me to send a text and say, hey, if it's possible, I sure need the help. No one else.
Unless you're up to your eyeballs in something over there that I don't know about, I need you to get over here and help me. I'll give you 2 days later to offset this one day, but I need some help over here.
Absolutely.
Guys, so-and-so had a car wreck, and the other kid, blew up, whatever it was. I don't know, but and I'm stuck over here. I need some help. And really, I would just call a staff meeting and say, we're not doing this anymore. Okay? We're not going to have a thing where 3 personal emergencies and 1 I don't give a crap and 1 personal day combines for me being down here by myself. That's the purpose of having a team, is to have a team. And when everybody doesn't show up for various reasons and it leaves it on me, I'm not doing this anymore. So we're going to have a reset on expectations, and that is that you're at work unless something's really, really, really bad.
Right. Given all of that information, would you also potentially suggest hiring 1 or 2 more people to the team to plug those holes overlap, or is this purely a mentality issue? My wife seems to think that the margins are good enough. I need to hire another full-time person. That person would be busy maybe 2/3 of the time, but the other third of the time,
I want them busy. I would hire somebody else if they're busy all the time. And that would the more of the busy all the times you got, the better chances you got of not having anybody there again. That's kind of wild. But I think the thing is this: it's a small team, and they have to realize when you work for a small business, you can't say the words, "It's not my job," because everything's your job when you work for a small business.
Yeah.
We all lift boxes. We all answer the phone. We all show up and take orders. Sometimes. Because we all do whatever it takes, because there's just freaking 5 of us, boys and girls.
Yeah.
And so we all got to care deeply, or this place isn't going to be here to write you a check. So we have to produce here. And so we have to increase our intensity. You don't work for corporate America who's going to piss on you the first time you mess up, but you also don't work for corporate America that's going to put up with your incompetence and just not showing up and mailing it in. Because I don't have the margin to do that. You guys got to give a rip at a real high level, or we're not going to be able to grow. We're not going to be able to get better. And if you don't want to work here on that basis, I understand. But here, we work while we're at work.
Amen.
It's just, I've had that. This is the very words I've used out of my mouth at staff meeting. I say stuff like this. Not as much anymore, but I did for certain in the first 10 years here. And go, this is what we do. I had to set the culture of a self-employed mentality. We're not mailing it in. Because, if my kid is sick, I can't not show up and do the radio show. Somebody's got to cover the kid, right?
Yeah.
I got it because the stinking microphone doesn't turn on. That radio station's kind of quiet. That doesn't work.
And I think that's part of the problem is that in my position, my wife and my mother-in-law, to be honest with you, are able to handle those crises on my personal side, and the couple other team members don't have that infrastructure, and they've not set themselves up with that infrastructure to handle those crises when they come up.
I don't have the flexibility for you to work here if you don't show up by 4 days out of 5.
Yep.
I don't have the margin.
And it's tough because those people are good when they're here. The one person in particular is really good and is A+ when they're here.
Yeah, but they're still not fulfilling the job. The job description is they got to be here.
8 to 5, Monday through Friday.
That's what we do, man. And it's like, and you have some personal time off, and we can't all take it at once. If everybody turns in vacation on the same 2 weeks in the summer, you're not going to accept those applications no, everybody can't go on vacation at one time.
Right. That's true.
We used to have to manage that because we'd have a whole department gone, nobody to answer the phone. We're like, you can't do that. You can't all be gone at the same time. I don't care if everybody likes June or not. No, thank you. I mean, we don't have any way to keep doing business. And when you get back, your job won't be here because we'll be broke. It's just, so that somehow they don't get that urgency that's in my voice right now, that visceral feeling. And if they don't, then every little thing that comes up in their personal life becomes a reason to not go to work because they're mailing it in. But if you got people that really want to be there and they're helping you drive the thing forward, they're not just there to collect a check, then you can do away with some of this. So I think you've got one of the 5 you're going to have to replace. And I think you know who it is. And I think that'll change the culture of the whole thing too. And you don't have to do it suddenly. I don't think anybody's mad at anybody, but you've been putting it off and you've been putting up with it and you've been putting up with it and you're getting tired even in your Midwestern way, as you said. You're getting sick of it. And so you already know you probably got one. You may have 2. And then maybe if you can get enough business coming in, you can do what your wife said. Let's get a full-time person to work a full-time job. The more of those we've got, 10 people, you've got less chance of this happening than 5. And so you're getting off the treadmill stage. You got a more of a delegatable situation the broader it gets. So, and we can get you, from 8 million to 16 million or something, right? That's what we want to get to. But we're not going to get there if, every time somebody poops their diaper, we can't have to go home. That just won't work. And so, man, it's hard. It's hard. And it sounds like I don't care. It's not that I don't care. It's just that I don't care. That's all it is.